What's up, campers? Welcome to another episode of Tales of the Trails, a podcast where three scouts talk about their adventures in the wilderness. Except today, it's not three scouts, it's three dads. And boy, is it going to be an episode for you. As always, before we get started, follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Trails Podcast to keep up with our stories and receive updates. Don't forget, we've got a website. It's a pretty dope website, and we're working on a new one. Shout out to Srihari, because I don't know how to use it. Trailspodcast.com as always. And don't forget to subscribe wherever you listen to your podcasts. Now for the dads.
Yeah, so good evening, everyone. We're going to talk about our camping experience. I guess we, as our sons do on this podcast frequently. So I guess the first thing we're going to talk about is our camping experience. The first, I'm not sure. I don't want to take over. So who wants to go first?
I can go first. Not a problem.
Okay.
Thank you, Ken. This is Amit, Aditya's dad. I think I've known you guys for almost my whole life now, or since Aditya was a Cub Scout.
Yep, I remember I met you and it was the Cub Master. I was the Cub Master.
Yes, and I think the camping experience I'll recount would be our trip down to Block Island. We actually did this as a family. My wife and my daughter joined in as well, and we got a place for them to stay. But it was a beautiful weekend. We went down on a Friday night. It was raining at that time. We set up the camps in wet weather. However, we had a beautiful weekend. Right on Saturday and Sunday, they were nice and sunny, and the whole family enjoyed the bike around the whole island and the activities the day long. So I'll just give a quick intro to it, let others talk in as well. But this was something that I enjoyed very much, and even my wife has been asking me, "Oh, when can we go back or do more of that?" And really, that was the experience, just to see all of us be together and be also a part of the scout group, and engage in the community there. That was lovely. Uh, it was a good time. I've done with Aditya a couple other simpler camp trips. One was in a cabin, another was at the Knobscar Trail, but those were just generic, more simpler ones. Enjoyable still, just because yes, you're somewhat more crammed in. You didn't have a whole island to go around or so, but they were still fun for the day or half a day that we spent there. Let me pause now. I know either of Andrew or Ken could take on more. Maybe we can discuss more of what we found more useful in the camping trips.
I was curious if you really could consider camping a trip that you take your wife and you put her up in a cottage near the campsite or not. If that actually,
Yeah, I completely
counts.
agree. I mean, I think that yes. So I stayed in the tent, and she had a room set aside for her and my daughter. And my daughter was about I believe 5 at that time. And yes, uh, not was camping for myself. I guess there was a lot of other work that I had to do just to coordinate between the two of us or the two groups there. Yeah.
I mean, was that before like you started with the Cub Scouts or Boy Scouts? Like we're
No, this was afterwards.
okay,
This was with the Scouts. This was not with
okay,
the
okay.
Cub
Sorry.
Scouts. I think with the Cub Scouts, a lot of our trips there were no real overnight camps. I think the only one we did was as the Weeblos. We
We
went
will overnight are correct. Yeah, we just had
down to
we
the
had the overnights, but they weren't really camping. We'd go like to Battleship Cove. We'd go to like Snores and Roars. We'd go to the different trips.
and there was the
We,
Paw
we,
Fox. I remember. Yeah, they were just different day trips or so.
we actually we'd sleep overnight, but we'd sleep in like in the museum floor or something.
That's true. We
Yeah, I
did
remember that.
the Boston Science Museum once.
We did the
Yeah.
science. We did the science museum. We did the Worcester Zoo. We did the Rhode Island Zoo. We did a bunch of but it's like they weren't really. It's not really camping because you're camping in a building.
Right, you're on a hard carpet floor.
Hard carpet floor. Yeah.
Yeah, the best ones were the Museum of Science, and you have all these, 7 or 8-year-old boys, and you're in the body parts, portion of the museum, and they're all waking up in the middle of the night, scared.
Hmm.
Good times, or the
I remember I could never sleep at any of those trips. It's like might as well not even try. Like, no matter what, I couldn't get comfortable, and it's like too many people. It's like I couldn't sleep.
yeah. My favorite was the Paw Sox sleepover.
Oh,
So
that's a good one.
where you watch the game, and then you have the movie, and then you set up in center field,
The center
and then
field.
everybody's ready for bed. The movie's done, and now they're cleaning the stadium, and they do it. So they spend an hour cleaning the stadium with backpack, you know, leaf
Leaf
blowers,
blowers,
and they
correct?
blow
Yes.
everything onto the field. So now it's 12 o'clock. They start, and it's 1 o'clock when you're done, and you just want to be, you
Be
know,
done.
you want to be asleep, and then you wake up in the morning, and there's a one stall bathroom for every single scout that's there out in center field.
That was a fun trip. I remember too. It's amazing how you think that nice. You think the grass and the baseball field is so soft and it's gonna be nice. It's actually I remember it was being very hard. It was almost like concrete. I'm sure it's done that way for drainage purposes, but it was like it was not. Was not a night. I didn't sleep, but that was a fun
Yeah.
trip.
Yeah, I
I,
remember one in Rhode Island as well. We went to the Roger Williams Zoo and we
yep.
stayed overnight there, and that was a good trip too. I think that yes, those are some of the memories of sort of growing up with the Boy Scout, just experiencing these places. We've been there as a family, as normal attendees, but taking the other view of maybe doing it in the evening or such, or having that out of the ordinary experience, that made it special. Yeah, that added on a different flair to the same place. So yeah,
Yep.
Yeah, my favorite camping trips are always the ones that something spontaneous always comes up, between the scouts. Whether it be, we had a huge snowball fight on one of the lakes in Connecticut, at Pomperog, I think is the name of the camp there in Union, Connecticut. And I think it was almost 2 hours we had this. Tom was there. He made a big, huge snow fort, and it was all about just knocking it over and with snowballs from another group. And it was a good time. It was. Then of course someone broke their wrist in that event. So there's always good stuff happens.
Always drama. Always drama.
Always drama. Just kids playing around. I mean, it happens, but you know, items like that, or I've sat at campfires, just sitting there in my Adirondack chair around a campfire, out of the, as you can imagine what it took to get that in, but and just listening to the scouts, some of the political conversations that
yeah,
are so insightful and from many different viewpoints, but not at all judgmental. You think they could take over the world, and in a good way.
it's the positive energy in the boys, right? So yes, they
Yes.
want to rule, and they know everything. So yes, why not let that conversation out, or let them have it in a way? And yes, you're right. That's some of the fun part of being the listener at that within those camping trips, to uh, realize all of what they are going through or picking up on. Often enough, you don't get that just when you're at home or just with them alone. So yes, one good reason to join in on a camping trip in that respect.
Well, I think it's the big thing with camping. It's like there's a bunch of things you do. You're getting camaraderie, so you're going to go out. You're escaping from your family unit, your normal home, your normal location to go somewhere else with a bunch of people, boys or maybe but boys, and then typically you're going to create relationships or friendships through that bonds, and actually that bonding is can go through life. I know I I started camping when I was fairly young. I remember when I was like Aditya, I went to Weeblos and then I went to Boy Scouts. I remember even 10 years old, my first camper trip was actually, it was, it was like, it was summer camp. It was a week at summer camp, and that was for me. That was quite an experience because not as heavy duty as a real camping trip because you're in a platform tent. You're on a bunk. You have a bunk, and you can get to go to the dining hall to eat. But other than that, you still. I remember being eaten alive by mosquitoes, and it was miserable. But I went back for more. So I think it's the misery. You're there in misery, but misery loves company. So you're there with like other your campmates and like, okay, it's gonna be painful. We gotta figure out how we're gonna make pancakes. It's freezing. How am I gonna make pancakes on this open fire with like, and it's everything's burnt, but it's the experience of doing it. And you're gonna end up eating Pop Tarts afterwards anyway because it's not gonna work. But it's kind of like it's that like you it's more the fun of the it's if you think about it, it's not a fun thing because it's like the act of doing it together is what makes it special, I think. Like, and you said you remember the snowball fight. You remember the odd things that happen during these camping trips that make it fun and you'll remember it forever.
Absolutely, and the lessons that the kids learn from watching others. Uh, I wish some of them would learn it the first time, or maybe sometimes the second. But generally after the third, they do. You know, the scout who decided they was going to drink a jar of uh, cherry juice after they used cherries for some dessert that they made. And he learned his lesson after being suggested to maybe not drink a whole jar of cherry juice. Or the scouts who decide they're going to drink the entire 5-gallon bucket of bug juice.
I think that whole thing will be legendary too. Everybody's going to talk about that. That's going to be like the highlight
Oh,
of the trip.
absolutely.
That's the highlight of the trip.
Forever.
I feel sometimes a lot of the highlights of the trip are really just the actual food or what the boys get to experience with, say, the treats in a sense. I remember the one on the Block Island. What was really a hit was stopping over after the bike trail at an ice cream shop and enjoying the ice creams. And it was, again, you would not think of it. It was a very commonplace ice cream shop, but really the fact that they'd been biking the whole day and really had not had too much, and that was a big break. At towards the end of the day, the uh, the the joy on the kid's face was something to be seen in a way that no, yeah, it's a treat. And the fact that yes, it was something by the troop, and they could have what they liked, that was another part of it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, there's the camp out that usually is the last one of the year, where the scouts will hike 2 miles each way to get themselves a fried dough. That's about the
Yeah,
size of a
I've
small
heard about
pizza.
that.
The Salisbury Beach. Was it
Sal-
Salisbury Beach?
it's Salisbury Beach.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Salisbury Beach. Because they have beautiful campsites. You can see it's right on the ocean. It's like that's a beautiful place.
yeah, and we're always in that same corner spot that you can see everybody going the boat ramp and up and down and around. It's not too far from the bathhouses, but into the beach.
And
And
I guess we are getting into the better part of the year, so I'm hopeful that more of these trips can be done for this year, right? So April and May and June, really the weather opens up and it picks up. But I think, yes, kudos to all the leaders out there. I think you guys have done a great job, even within this past year, to be able to uh,
Definitely.
keep it up and keep the boys engaged. That's what I keep hearing from Adi. That yeah, there's still interest and there's still uh, sort of energy within the boys, even though there's been less activities or less trips to do. So
yeah,
yeah.
Because with so many things being like being not available because of the pandemic, this is Scouts. It seems like it kept going. They try to do with the virtual, then they've done outdoor meetings, so try to keep the social distance and keep everybody safe, but still have the get together and have that camaraderie. And they've gone on a number of trips too. It's been great.
And yes, they've been to trips, so I think it's definitely a good thing. At least that's the one part they can at least carry on the social part and meet up and connect up. So it's good. Yes.
Well, yeah, we need to be able to carpool. That's the only thing that's keeping everybody back from having a little bit more interesting
Yes.
trips. You know,
Yes.
because those interesting trips are places that are a little further away, and it's hard to ask a parent, for 15
For
different
traveling, right.
scouts to everybody to drive to western part of the state, or up to another state where then you maybe have to quarantine because you did it, you know, just to come back again a day and a half later to pick up your scout. So but hopefully, yeah,
I mean, hopefully, I'm not sure if they. I believe they're still going to have summer camp this summer too, which is good.
yep, they're going to
I'm not,
Squanto.
and I'm not sure they can do one per scout per tent or something. Are they going to?
That's the plan right now.
Yeah. Okay. That's good. At least they're going to go summer camp. I don't believe it's Resolute. I don't think believe Resolute's open, right? Just Squanto.
Resolute's open, but for day camping only.
Okay.
Squanto's open for tent camping.
I mean, I'm hoping that everything once things settle down and get back to normal, that scouts will kind of get back. I feel like, our troop has been very active and seems like doing well. I think this must hurt a lot of troops. So if they don't have without the camping and all those trips, I think it's a lot of people shied away from that. It's probably hard to keep the interest and keep people active. So I'm hoping the scouts can recover. Scouting in general can recover from all this.
Yeah, we were lucky in the way that our format was traditionally scheduled, blended into where we could do Zoom in some cases. We could
Mm.
do a split schedule. We could camp locally because there's a lot of good places we can camp, and there's always Big Indian if we nearby that we always have access to. Uh, so if we were a real heavily active high adventure, or hiking all over, then that might have been more difficult.
Yeah, I think that fact that we have all these local within hour and a half drive is even less. Right, most of the trips have been less than an hour drive, I believe.
Yeah,
Very between
they,
Big Indian and the canoe trip and
they've all
I think
been
they
in a
went
half an hour.
And Knobscot
And then one and
Within a half an hour.
with half hour. Yeah, you're right, half hour. So like, to make it manageable, and they're still even if you're only half hour away, still being out there in the woods as a group. It still kind of has the same effect. I mean, you're not going to go see any fancy monuments or anything or fancy sites, but you still club the top of Knobscot, look up the hill, right? Look at the radio towers on top of the hill, I guess.
Yep. I mean, it's still fun. They still want to do it.
And go to Big Indian and do whatever you're going to do there. They do.
Yeah.
Cook a turkey, right? Cook a turkey, whatever they got.
Cooked turkeys. Yep, we did. And they got their St. Patrick's Day corned beef and cabbage.
Yes.
Knobscot this year.
I thought it was very nice. They did all the. So then also for Mr. For Dave, they did the special ceremony. That was very nice of them, Mr. Hayworth. So
Well, he was very impactful on the lives of many of the scouts.
yeah, he's very, like you said, he's very. He was like a fixture. He wouldn't. He'd go to. He was always there.
It was good to see some of the older scouts come over and be there at the ceremony as well. So that, yeah, it was-
If you get a chance, when you get things get going, take a look at the scout hall. The sign that they had made for them, naming the hall is fantastic. We have some collages up inside there and um, a letterbox or shadow box frame with his uniform. Um, but they did have to take a whole bunch of stuff off the uniform because it was too heavy to frame and keep on and keep on the wall. Because
You know those like the eagle pins from all the different eagles that you know. What's the pin they give out? The pin they give a. He had a he had so many of those pins.
the mentor pins.
Mentor pins. So he had so many thank you, so many mentor pins I
from
know my
different.
oldest, Andrew's older brother gave him a mentor pin at his Eagle ceremony a few years ago. That was like 6, 7 years ago, I think. But yeah, so he's been there through all my kids being in Scouts.
Yeah, I mean, look at the stuff, the bridge that they over and he built and painted a couple times.
Hmm.
And that will live on.
Like I said, it's one person you can always count on. Like I said, with because one of the things with Scouts is adult leaders. You go on camera trips. It's sometimes hard for a lot of people who are busy or doing other things that they don't have the time to go to these trips. So it was great that he took all the time to do that.
Yeah, he loved it, and even last summer at summer camp, he showed up every day,
Hmm.
and he taught merit badges a couple times a day. And it was hard for him, but he did it and enjoyed it. And he got them all in for polar bear swim and
Yep.
the coffee, coffee club in the morning and
Hmm.
whatever weather,
And all the goofy stuff.
all the goofy stuff.
That's what I remember about camp too. Is all the goof. Like there's always the goofy things you remember too about especially at summer camp, because it's more like all those goofy little things that the staff does and other troops do. Because that's typically a camping trip. You're with your troop, your group of folks. But then when you go to summer camp, you get to intermingle with other groups of other troops from other towns or other cities. Like who are those people? Who do they think they are? Like and there's always like kind of like a little bit of, but it's also kind of cool. Different, just meet different people, and the staff is usually a bunch of characters. So there's always like that adds to the summer camp's a whole nother level of like camping because you get much more what do I call it, stimulation, because all these different people, all these crazy things. Plus, there's more activities too.
Yeah. So I have a funny summer camp story that I'll share. A couple of years ago, I was there, and we have had the same campsite for a while because it's got power. So, and I I chose one particular tent because it was close to power. I wear a breathing machine because I have apnea.
Hmm.
So, but I also happen to have shared the tent with the mini fridge that comes along for
No,
summer
that's
camp.
nice. I like that.
Yeah.
So maybe airing a little dirty laundry. So in it was a whole bunch of sodas, and Dave uh, Dave was responsible for setting up the fridge, and he turned it on high to get it cold really fast. Well, I was thinking about this. So that's in my tent. It was right at the end of my cot because it was could be shaded easily. It wasn't going to heat up from the sun. So it was about 2 o'clock in the morning. I hear a weird noise at the foot of my bed, and I don't know what's going on. And so now I'm thinking, is there a critter outside? Am I going to now get scratched up and bitten by a, rabid raccoon? And so I get up and I'm looking around, and I don't know. I grabbed something as a weapon. I don't know what it was. It certainly wasn't. So here I am acting like a dope. What's going on? It's nothing. So I can't sleep. And then I hear this weird sound again as I'm slowly getting off to sleep, and I have no idea what it was. So finally get off. I have no idea. I couldn't figure it out. So I'm talking to I don't know who the next day, trying to figure out what's going on, and I realized that the sodas has exploded
Ah,
from getting too cold,
and they get froze, and they go,
and
oh,
they froze,
oh my
and they
god.
exploded, and they did it so hard that it opened and closed the door of the mini fridge, and that's what was waking me up. That I thought that there was a
Oh
critter
my
out
god,
there.
that's funny. I guess you really cranked it up.
And here I am. So now I can't sleep. I got some anxiety. It's a critter. What's going on? Either got to get into the other scouts' tents.
That's funny.
Who left what? Oh man.
The sodas.
And it was all, and of course, all the sodas now were gone. Some of them had, obviously been expanded. So that was pretty fun. They had to clean that up.
This is high class camping. We have with fridges, mini frizzes. Yeah, that's
Well, somebody likes to take his Coca-Cola camping wherever they go.
yes, that's funny. I I always like summer camp too. I'm just gonna say because I grew up, like I said, 10 years old was the first time I went camping. Then I would go to summer camp as a scout when I was younger, and one of my favorite parts was always and I got to see it with the kids, especially on Friday, is those campfires. I always love the campfires between the songs and the skits and everything they do. I remember when we'd always have an opening campfire and a closing one. I know it's cool. We got to see the kids. When we picked them up on Friday nights, there was always a campfire. So I love the campfires. And it brings back memories. So a little bit different, but still, it's the idea. A lot of the same songs, but it's fun.
Yeah, I've asked them in the last PLC that they start bringing back skits by the different patrols on it at the different camping events because they are fun, and when they do it, uh,
Yeah,
we
I
do.
remember the skits from the summer camps, especially on the last day when they're ending it. All of the, I guess the organizers and even the scouts participate in it, and it's really quite a rehearsed or a, well choreographed show that they put up with all of the marching bands and then the multiple rowing. Especially at Camp Resolute, how they go over the water and bring in sort of the spirit of the camp plan and such. So, yeah,
Tonkaku.
Tongaku.
Tonkaku.
thanks for reminding me about it. But yeah,
If you get a chance, there's a picture out there of Dave Perry as Tonkaku
oh really?
when he was a counselor at Resolute as a scout.
I'll look for it. Yeah.
That's funny. Tonkaku.
It's good stuff. But yeah, they're funny. We had a good campsite, good campfire at Salisbury Beach a bunch of years back. That the skits were hysterical, and they had people just lined up at the edge of the road where we were camped, just watching because
Oh,
they were that funny
That's good.
and entertaining.
Again, that's another thing. It's like even getting how much that's good for the kids to learn that because your showmanship, you have to work as a group for a skit. You have to work as a group. Then you have to get in front of people, an audience. It's actually a good. It's a good experience actually in general. Plus, it's fun.
and in a way, again, it's a safe experience, right? So even if they make it wrong or they don't get it right first few times, it's all good fun in a way. It's all good practice for them. So yes, they can continue to improvise and get better over time. So um,
If they get it wrong, it's better.
even better, yeah.
It's
So,
funnier if they get it wrong.
Yeah, that's the best.
So I'm just worried how much are we going to get we're going to get royalties for this show. That's all I'm worried about right now. I'm like from Andrew. I have to get Andrew. He's going to give me his royalties. I think for the show. I thought we were just going to sit here. I'm like, sorry. And now I'm like, I'm breaking. I'm not trying to. DT's going to get mad at me. But I'm saying, I thought we were just going to sit next to like the kids, and I didn't realize we are going to have to take over. So
Yeah, I thought we were going to be interviewed,
you can cut that out in editing if you want. Um,
but I did just get nudged because the question was asked if we would talk about what it was like raising a scout.
okay,
yeah, we can talk about that too. Yeah.
So I mean, this is my first scout that I've raised. Uh, Ken, you had a couple,
3. Yep.
yeah, and
This is my first one too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay,
And somewhat of a different one because I also have a daughter. I think, can you have only sons or
I have 2 daughters too.
you have two daughters as
Two
well? So
daughters, yeah.
I think for us it's been somewhat of a challenge, especially once the daughter became big or elder, uh, trying to find corresponding similar activities for her as well. Or so she kind of always complains about the fact that her brother seems to have more fun or has more things to be able to get to. But yes, it's been fun and busy, I guess, in terms of raising a Boy Scout. There's always more things to do. Somewhat less concerning in the sense that, yes, there is already a set of things that he wants to be able to do. So one less thing for a parent to think about. Oh, what are they doing or what else? This is a safe area that they can just go in and do. uh, Realize now, yes, any activity on the scouting side, I don't have to worry about, oh, where is he going or what's going on. I can rely on the leaders and the parents and the kids themselves. So I think over the years, that's been a comfort of sorts. And I think for almost any of the other activities that my son has been in, I think this is the only one thing that goes all year round, almost all year around. So there's a lot of great continuity across, especially if you stay in the same town. We've stayed, and as I said, I've known Ken right from my
Yep. First,
Cub year,
yes,
right
yes.
from the Tigers
Uh,
Cub Scouts. So in that sense, it's been great. The just the uh, sort of getting together with the families and getting to know all of them. Now we almost know them on first name basis and more. I know Andrew was over at our house when Aditya was getting through his merit badges on the Indian Karma ones and such. So yes, it's been a great experience in that sense. I think I've learned more things too. This was, I would say, being Indian, Cub Scouting was something that I read in a lot of my books, and when I was growing up, it was never something that I had done as a boy. So when we were here in Ashland, I got to know about this. It was something I definitely wanted him to try out, and I guess I lucked out that he enjoyed it and he wanted to stay on it. So yes.
yeah, it's interesting because actually, even Aditya, so I've known him his whole scouting life because I remember
Uh-huh.
I was the Cub Master of Pack One and Aditya when Aditya started Scout. So I was like, I guess so I've known him as long as his whole scouting career too. So I guess
Yeah.
it's kind of it's cool that he see him would go all the way through. I think he's like so many kids will drop out of Cub Scouts, then some will go through all the way through Cub Scouts, but then not go to Boy Scouts. Then some will go to Boy Scouts for a short time, then quit. So it's like it's always awesome to see kids that just go all the way through, like Aditya, and like Andrew. A lot of Andrew too. All my two other sons, they did that. It's a great thing, and I think, like you said, it's always. I always put it. It's always there. Like scouting is always there. Like okay, baseball is like for 2 months it's busy, then it's gone. Basketball, it's 3 months and it's gone. This party life is it's gone, but scouting is always there. Boy Scouts is always there. Even when my oldest son, who was, I guess, graduate high school like 6 years ago, almost 7 years ago, he went into the service, and he would actually still is active in scouts in.
Oh, very good.
He was active scouts in Japan. He was active in scouts in Germany. He's back in Japan. I don't know if he's still active. COVID kind of like put a damper on things for scouting, but he was. Uh, he did a lot of stuff with in Japan and in Germany, and he went camping in different places because he's in a different country. So it was kind of cool. So, so yeah, he stayed active. That's always nice to see that they not even they when it's over for them, they're still not over. They're still active. Even for me, I guess I was a Cub Scout, a Boy Scout, an Eagle Scout. I then you do other things. You stop doing it. Then I started helping. I was assistant scoutmaster in a troop in Cambridge before I got married. Then I came out here. I stopped doing it. Then there was a need for a Cub Scout leader, so I took that. And for 7 years, I was the Cub master for Pac One Ashland. That's where I met Aditya and you met. So and
Mhm.
many other people. So it was an experience. So yeah, I agree with you though. It's like it's kind of like it's always there. Then even the summer you have summer camp. There's always something going on.
And I think that's the comfort part too, that there is something familiar to go back to. Yeah, with the kids as well, with different activities, you kind of keep changing the groups or you keep changing the people uh, within a town. If you're a part of a troop, if you're part of a scout pack, there is that familiarity of the same kids coming back year over year, and it's great to be able to see that growth within the families and growth within the kids themselves as they mature over. You don't really get to see that with other
Yes.
extracurricular activities so much.
Yes.
So, yeah,
Well, plus you see them turn from a tiger cub all the way to like a leader in a troop.
and
Like,
that's good.
sorry, I'm like Aditya and all the other kids, like just, but he's because I saw him as a tiger cub and I saw him as, but he said he gets, it's good to see that growth. So I agree with that. Yes. That's a good, it's good. What was I going to say? The only thing it's the other thing it's just with Joshua and Andrew both made their eagle, but still all the stress they caused me by taking, not aggravating me by not getting it done in time, or trying to push them to get it done. But they were pretty self motivated, but still like caused some aggravation for me. And then Thomas, because Thomas, I tried to push him a little bit. He didn't quite make it, so I was like, I gave up. Because something that I think my three sons, the number one thing was, like you said, is camping trips and the camaraderie, not the ranks, was as much for them. They like the camp trips and the camaraderie, not the ranks. I think we're all up against the clock. We're gonna have to
Andrew,
break.
do you have any thoughts or any comments on your end in terms of?
For
Or did,
me,
or you don't?
yeah, for my son, he's going to age out in about 6 weeks. Um, and we were laughing because for from Tiger Scouts, and I was his leader or assistant den leader for a while, or it finished Weeblos when everybody in his den disbanded, so it was just the two of us that helped him finish and get his Hour of Light, and in through scouting, and it's been great because it's one of those events that we could do things together but still separate at the same time, right? So you could see him off doing different things, join up for 10 minutes, but not be there for 8 hours together. And yet there's still going off and playing and you're doing something together to get to enjoy and talk about those things and grow together. I think that's been my best experience, growing up. I'm gonna miss that certainly when he goes away to college in this fall, which I'm sure. But still get to see that in the other scouts to some. Watch him coming in, for middle school, and you see him, how they all are, and with their newfound independence, and as they grow and change. So hopefully, he'll still get to experience some of that sort of similar, but not, but different. So that's been my best or greatest experience, right, with scouting, is doing that. Yeah.
It's good. Well, dads, this has been really good. But we'll have to be right back for after a quick ad break.
And we're back. But this time it's all six of us. I'm sure you guys had enough of our dads.
Not
But
enough
hey,
dad
I think
jokes.
that went pretty well. What are we thinking? Andy and Andy, what are we thinking?
I think they yapped on a bit too long, but
From what I could
You
hear,
totally
they were talking pretty highly of us. So
Yeah, I didn't hear my dad bashing on me, and that's a first. So
yeah,
But you
nothing
said,
embarrassing.
you
right.
said you had to talk for 45 minutes. So I'm like, okay, I got like 10 more minutes left. I'm like trying to fill the air.
Yeah. Hey, no, you guys did well. This was good. But now what? Andrew, you want to take it away with your segment?
yeah,
What are the dads bringing to the campsite?
exactly. That's the question of the day. So as of right now, we have a few items. We'll list them off for you. So right now we have bug spray. We have waterproof matches, a guitar, and tape and rope. A tarp and rope. Sorry.
So
All
what
right.
do we have to add to that list?
Yeah, you have to
So
add to that.
you add to that list, and as I learned on the first episode, nothing is given. Okay, there's no tents, there's nothing. It's just a barren campsite, and you can hear about my absolute horror when I learned about that. Because the first thing I thought of was like, all right, I'll bring a guitar and spruce up the campsite. But no, there's literally nothing here. And
There was some story behind it. Like
yeah.
Aditya brought his guitar. I brought the matches.
And AJ
We
lit
could
my
use
guitar on
Aditya's
fire.
guitar as firewood.
No.
Our guest Pratham brought the bug repellent. Ricky brought the tarp and the rope.
Yep.
He was watching out for us with some shelter.
Was that duct tape?
No, there's no tape.
Can I say a mini fridge?
Yes, you can say it.
Yeah, a mini fridge. As long as it doesn't, don't put it on too high though.
Okay.
It won't work because it's not to plug it
I
into.
mean, there's no
but you know,
electricity,
yeah,
but you can
sure.
still bring it.
A mini fridge with a low setting. That's what I'll ask.
So we don't freeze any sodas.
All right, Mr. McIsaac, what about you?
Well, so since nobody mentioned duct tape, I would bring duct tape. I have a pattern that I could make a pair of snowshoes with duct tape and some twigs.
Okay.
And we're gonna-
Among with other 101 uses.
We're
for
gonna
duct tape.
challenge you to that. All right.
That's whenever you want.
All right.
We're gonna have to see that happen. We're gonna hold you accountable.
What about a sleeping bag? Do we need one?
I think, yeah, not a bad idea. Sleeping bag. All right.
Only
everybody?
one or a bunch for all of
Everybody
us.
or for just for you or for everyone?
Well, let's try one at least.
Oh God. All right. Sleeping bags just for my dad. So I'm gonna just say just
We're all
for.
gonna pile in that one sleeping bag.
Okay. I'll take the tarp and the rope and just. Yeah.
I'm bringing a very big roll of duct tape. I can make anything out of it.
Yeah, I'm thinking
To make his own sleeping bag.
And the waterproof matches will just be to light myself on fire. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. Not the guitar, preferably.
I don't know. Depends on how you play the guitar.
Right.
All
Right.
right. Anything you mentioned a bit of discussion of a few things, or we're just gonna.
Dads. Mr. McIsaac, I know you have these on demand. You got a dad joke for us?
I don't know. What do you get when you cross B&M baked beans and Betty Crocker cake mix?
What do you get?
You get a birthday cake that can blow out its own candles.
That's pretty funny.
This is what I have to deal with on like a day-to-day
Why?
basis for the past 18 years.
Oh my lord.
Somebody's like dad joke, and he'll have like 3, and he just keeps going.
I had a feeling he'd have them on demand. I wasn't
Yeah.
surprised.
And
when-
you asked it, and he's like, "Well, I don't know, but if you insist."
if you insist, right?
The question is how
I
bad
think
you
there's
want
more
it.
too. He has more. He's just way holding back.
Yeah. Do you have just a dam that's ready to burst with dad jokes?
No, but I do have a calendar that so I keep getting fresh every day, a new joke at least, and I do read Boys Life magazine. I go to the back
Oh, it's funny. Yeah,
pages
yeah.
as soon as it comes in.
That's funny.
That's a good. Yeah.
That and my mom made the mistake of getting him one of those like rip-off calendars for Christmas
With
with
the
a new dad joke every day. I feel bad for his coworkers that have to hear him.
Yeah.
So I start my staff meetings off with it because I can.
I can't because I can't.
Because I can. That's life motto. Cool.
Yeah,
Work talk.
I think we're ready to wrap it up, right?
Yeah.
Those are 45 minutes.
Close enough.
It's close enough. With the ad. Dads, sons. Thank you guys for coming. This was great. This wasn't weird at all. No, I think this turned out pretty good.
We had decent expectations and a lot of faith in our dads.
Yeah.
And
It-
I'd say it turned out decent. I mean, I didn't hear everything, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, you guys are gonna love. I'm gonna love the text chain that I get while AJ's editing this slowly.
Oh yeah.
Just listening to the episode and be like, what was going on at minute 43?
So
Um,
what I had in mind is an episode of the Red Green Show. If you
Never
ever
heard.
get a chance,
I
go
think
on
you're aging yourself
and
there.
go look at the Red Green Show and the Possum Lodge.
Never heard of it.
How long ago that was like on like I can't. I've seen that show, but I can't remember the last time I saw that show.
Yeah.
That's the Red Green.
Then again, you watch like Star Trek or whatever, first series or whatever. I don't know.
Star Trek isn't that old.
Andrew's like, he's such a nerd.
Yeah, what a,
But if you ever wanted to do a demonstration broadcast for you, it like that, that could be interesting.
Yeah.
Star
Oh.
Trek.
oh,
Hey, the dad's episode turned out pretty good.
The
So
Star
I'm
Trek
curious to see how the mom's episode is going to turn out.
oh boy.
Was that foreshadowing or
If
something?
you're gonna have the mom's episode, please have it inside a latrine.
Okay. I don't know how that's
Little train
relevant, but
Zoom background.
right. Okay. All right. Well,
Some housekeeping though before we kind of wrap it up.
mhm.
We gotta say a thank you to our dads, but also a thank you to our newest monthly supporter, Ricky Fonseca, also known as Ricardo Fonseca, as he said in our past episode.
Also known as
Sticky Ricky.
Sticky Ricky.
There we go.
Go check the last episode if you want more context, because we're not going to give it to you right now.
Yeah, it's a little fuzzy, but listen to Ricky's episode, and also a thank you to Ricky for being a monthly supporter. And Aditya can tell you how you can be a monthly supporter.
I guess I could. I was just thinking about how I was going to go to bed. But to become a monthly supporter, go to anchor.fm/Trails Podcast /support. Don't ask me why I have that link memorized. And just click on the amount that you want to donate to us. Helps us keep the podcast going. And it's pretty easy. You just put in your credit card info and your first name and last name. And we don't get the credit card info. We just get the first and last name. It'd be pretty cool if we got your credit card info, but we don't. I promise. We're just a bunch of 16-year-olds, and actually, I think I'm the only 16-year-old. But anyways, we don't get your credit card information. That would be great. But the easiest thing to do is like, follow, subscribe, listen. Just have it playing in the background while you're driving or something. I'd say that I have a pretty listenable voice. No?
No.
No, it's not.
All I know is I have a face for radio.
He's gonna
Pleasurable.
OLD.
Attractive voice? I don't know.
And
Anyways,
video.
thank you for the
Okay,
content.
so it's getting late, and the dads have a 7 o'clock deadline. 7 p.m. Bedtime.
Yeah, we're already.
We've also
you
got
know,
work tomorrow.
They're
Actually,
they're
tomorrow.
growing their
Sleep right
beards. They're
now,
getting
so
old.
you
Let's
can't
let
say
them go.
let him go.
Thank you for having us. Yes.
Our fire's dying down. Thank you guys for your constant support on the past episodes. Season 2 has been a hit so far, and we're looking forward to more guests, more episodes, and more fun. We'll see you next time on Tales of the Trails. Peace out.